This is the start of a new job, and we are just getting some scaffolding set up. We're on this old country road. There's no traffic that comes through here. We're out in the middle of nowhere, and this house is from 1780s, and we're going to be redoing that chimney. And we're going to be redoing a lot of the stuff inside the chimney. So going to try to get some of the fireplaces working, the beehive oven working. While we're working on getting this set up going, it's pretty tricky when you go to set up on a metal roof. There's a lot of different types of metal roof, and this one's a corrugated one, and it's got all the screws coming through, and it kind of makes it tough to set up on because the planks don't fit between the ribs, and they don't really want to sit evenly if you spread them over the ribs, like facing this way. So you got to get a little creative. So I just I staged the roof with a couple planks like this, and I just used some tie wire to put it around these fasteners to hold the plank long enough for me to get this plank on here. That's a 16 foot that goes all the way up to the ridge, those are my ultimate ridge hooks here. These ones are modified, but that's basically what ultimate ridge hook looks like. It's kind of a piece of junk, but it does the trick. It'd be nice if they made them out of something decent instead of just this sheet steel stuff that just rusts up, like a nice block of aluminum or something. Yeah, so this whole roof is it's weird. All these fasteners are kind of popping up in the whole roof, and some of them are all rusted. There's areas of rusted ones, and then I don't know how this roof doesn't leak, because between that and the flashing, they say they don't really notice leaking. They get water inside in the fireplace, but not so much on the outside, which is just almost unimaginable. I mean, look at this fastener. It's like pulled right out. I don't know how water doesn't go through that. I think it's just shingles under here. It's what it looks like, and they just went over the shingles. So yeah, I have to set up the scaffolding on the back side of the roof now, and I'll probably do the same thing. I've got one plank started there to kind of help hold this up off. I figure if I span the ribs that way, it'll be strong enough where I won't dent them when I put weight on here. So I'll do the same with a couple plank down there and put my chimney brackets on it, and then I'll have a setup on that side, set up on this side, and then we'll be ready to start doing the demo on this. That's a nice brick right there. Look at that one. Some nice old brick here. This house is 1780s, so it's an old farmhouse, and this one is in some sad shape. She's getting tired. I don't know. I guess when I'll get into it, I'll see when it was rebuilt. Like, some of it's been rebuilt, some of it's been repointed, rebuilt a couple times. It's like, I think it's almost 250 years old or 240 years old. So it's had a long life, but these divider walls are all, collapsing and falling down. And look at that brick right there. That's a leftover from when they were building the firebox wall. I wonder if they just had some extras down there that they had shaped for the fireboxes that they didn't use, and they ended up using that inside of the divider. I wonder if we'll find a couple more as we go down. So this thing's getting gutted completely. I'm gonna set up scaffolding on this side, scaffolding on this side. I'll have my winch over the top. I'll lower myself down into the chimney, and I will start cleaning out these divider walls all the way down, as far as I can go, really. And then we're going to see what we can do to fix this thing and get it back up to working condition. It's a pretty big chimney here, but you can see these flues are just long and narrow, so it's not really a good candidate for stainless liners if you want stuff to be working. So this one we're going to get creative on. I've never fixed a chimney like this. Well, I've never fixed a chimney in the way that I'm going to try to fix this one, so it's going to be really unique. I've got a plan. My plan may change as we go, depending on how crazy it gets down there. So just today we're setting scaffolding. I got to get it all set up, and then I don't know if we're going to get to demo today. I want to demo this down to the roof level, and then I'll have my access, because I'll plank over the top and I'll have my winch, so I'll have easy access into the hole and easy access to, you know, pull debris out. And then from there we have the dump trailer, which I'll pull real close to the scaffolding, and we'll just lower everything down into the trailer. We'll be kind of gentle about it. Some of this has new mortar, and these bricks might not be too salvageable, but some of the ones that don't have new mortar around them, like they maybe have some lime mortar around, we might be able to salvage some. And you know, I've got stuff to do inside the house, so I'm gonna try to reuse some of them to match the inside. And then probably the whole outside stack will get not new brick, but we'll find some used brick that are suitable for this. And then afterwards, after the chimney's all gutted out, we're gonna take it all the way down through the attic, and from the attic floor up, everything's gonna be brand new. I'm gonna try to rebuild divider walls in there. It's actually a really complicated job, but these are the ones I like because you got to think about them, and they're not. There's nothing cookie cutter about it. We're just gonna. We got to come up with a plan and try to get this thing up to working order. They want to be able to use their fireplaces, their beehive oven. So these are my favorite jobs to do, even though these are the most grimy, the most dirty. You go home pretty nasty at the end of the day, but still we're restoring a piece of history. And for me, you know, doing a good job on these is pretty important. All right, I'm going to give you guys a little tour of the house here. This is what the main fireplace looks like. And this one, you know, has had some restoration work done on it. A lot of it's newer. It's got this really nice big granite hearth piece here. You can see it's kind of sagging into the floor, and it's up on that back end. A lot of this stuff's been redone. And the firebox, looks like there's quite a bit of pointing on it, and I bet it's probably pretty close to the original shape. It might have been rebuilt at one time, but it looks like it could be, some of it could be original, but just repointed. Well, except for from here up, you know. This was a steel lintel that they used at one point, and it's just too high, so they lowered it, maybe so the smoke wouldn't billow out as much. And then it looks like all this section was rebuilt. There's some original brickwork up there, and then this stuff is newer. Looks like they got a damper that was retrofitted. Beehive oven. I actually didn't bring my light with me, so let me see if I can turn this on. There we go. There's the beehive oven. You can see it's been rebuilt on one side, and then that side. It's actually really, you know, beehives are usually rounded. This one's like a Gothic arch style. It's kind of really comes to a point up at the top. This is where it would vent out. It's full of insulation. Let's go over here. Got some work to do in here. You can see what the original firebox was, and then they did something here. To put this, I think they always maybe had a coal stove or a wood stove here, and they ripped it out and put this granite lintel way up here, and the granite lintel's cracked, and they've had a stovepipe go in through there, and that might even be why all this stuff is cracked, because of the stovepipe behind it touching. When you get metal up and it expands when it heats, it will pop, stuff like that. So maybe that's what happened to that. Yeah, we've got some work to do. I'm going to get this back to an original looking firebox. With you know, with some of the brick we salvaged from above. And actually, look at this piece of granite here. Okay, we got it notched out for the brickwork. That's kind of cool. And then here as well. You don't see that often. What do we got over here? Another little fireplace in here. Okay. Now we're going upstairs. We're gonna find the attic. We got one fireplace here, little guy. Little fireplace here. It's the chimney in the attic. Let me show you from this side here. It's all been parged up, and you can see it's all cracked up and stuff. So we're actually going to take the chimney down to the attic floor and rebuild it. And we're gonna rebuild it using block work to save on time and effort and money, rather than rebuild it all out of brick. So all block work from there up, and then divider walls will be block work. And then look at these hand-hewn beams in here. They're still all in really great shape, right? Usually you'd see them all sistered up, and there's new lumber in here, but this is all still holding really strong. So I guess it hasn't stayed damp in here. Water maybe hasn't been getting through. Well, they do have plastic down there, so maybe some water was getting in here, dripping a little bit. I mean, it's a pretty substantial roof system for 1780. They did a really nice job with this. It doesn't even have any purlins in it. It just has these principal rafters. When you see them meet like that, they're well, I don't know, because it's got this 5-way ridge beam here, and it's, but yeah, so it's a 5-way ridge beam, and I believe that those rafters touch at the top, maybe, or come close to it. So I don't know if it's still a principal rafter like that, but really cool. Really cool how they built these back in the day. Anyhow, yeah, we're going to lunch, and then we're going to come back, finish the scaffolding up, and then we're probably going to wrap it up for the day. Come back tomorrow, start demo. Well, we just finally got this back set of scaffolding on. It's been a little challenging working on this roof. We just had some rain come through. It's actually starting to dry up now, but you know, these metal roofs get pretty slick when they get damp. And then this roof also has like this coating. It's like a light coating of like oxidation or something. So you can see where, you know, if you step on it, it kind of like, it shows a little bit. So that might make it a little bit more slick too. Otherwise, it's a manageable pitch. It's not too bad. If it was shingles, you'd probably walk right up it, but you just get nervous on metal, especially when it's damp and when it gets this, you know, layer. I don't know, maybe it's some pollen on there that makes it a little slick. Yeah, so we're ready to go as far as the demo goes. I've leveled that scaffolding over with this scaffolding, so it'll be nice that everything's on the same plane here. This, you can see I had to use these leveling jacks to get everything nice and at the same height. And really what I want to do is get I'm gonna have to bring some more plank the top of that. Actually, it'll probably be planked right here. I'll plank it at this level on both of them. You know what? It's actually low. It's actually too low. Too low. Geez, I might have to bring more frames. I want to have room to. Well, maybe it's low on this side. On this side, there's a lot of chimneys showing, so I just need room to set up my winch somewhere and then have room to work under it, which I mean, this actually isn't ideal. Now that I'm looking at it a little closer, I'll probably bring in 2 more frames. I'll put them on this side. This one will be higher, and then I can get my winch set on that level over. And then I'll give me plenty of room to work underneath the winch, grab buckets of debris, go in and out of the chimney. Not sure how far I'll be going down in there, but it looks like it's a ways. Oh, I can see an old stovepipe in there. I don't know if you... Oh, it's so dark. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to get into in there, but I know that there's some brick missing from the exterior that we're going to have... I mean, it's in sad shape. We're going to do our best to fix this thing and make it really good. I see a nest too. Little nest on the side. I wonder if that was used. See those white things down there? I wonder if those white things are little eggshells from the birdies hatching this spring. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some chimney swifts that were in here in the spring. You know, a chimney that's wide open like this. I mean, that's a perfect place for them to hang out. All right, well, I guess that's enough for today. Bring some plank tomorrow, finish setting up for the winch, demo the chimney, maybe start getting inside, demoing the divider walls. Okay, we're finally all set up and ready to start the demo. We've got the fireplaces blocked off downstairs. The upstairs fireplaces are blocked off. The staging took a while to set up. So we finally got the backside set up. Everything's pretty lagged together now. Hopefully we're safe up here. Got the winch on. I don't really need the winch yet, but the second this chimney's down, I've got to start going down and getting these divider walls. So I have another winch. I might put the other winch on too, I'm not sure, or just like another bull wheel beside this. Okay, before we rip this down, let's just take a quick look at the chimney and see what we can learn from it. You see all these, some of the brick are pretty good. Like that's in pretty good shape. But these ones are getting all pitted and they're losing their faces. You can see the rocks. Actually, they were in the clay when they molded these brick. I wonder if this might have been the worst side. It probably gets the least amount of sun. This one has some pitting too. And you can see some the rocks in here. Look at this big rock. That was in the clay when they made this brick. Kind of cool. Sometimes you find some interesting things. Oh, a big rock. Like sometimes on the top of these brick you'll find some animal tracks, like footprints or something. When they were out drying them in the field, the animal would step on them and leave their track. Or sometimes you find numbers, like whatever the brick count was for the day. You know, they'll just like write it in the brick so they can keep tally on their brick. Yeah, I wonder if this, you know, this brick's obviously, you know, the handmade originals, and it's lasted for a long time. Here we are, you know, 240 years later, and I bet it actually didn't start pitting until they started putting this harder Portland mortar around it. You know, the mortar that it has no capillary action, so it can't breathe. It's not really vapor permeable. I mean, it is, but it just doesn't let the water out. It holds it in mostly, you know. It will suck it in, but it doesn't just come out like the old lime mortar. So when that water gets in here, it's trying to drive out through the brick now because you've sealed up all the joint. And what the lime mortar was, you know, one of the best things about it is it was really good at draining water. So it wasn't forced to drain through the face of the brick. And I think that's what happens here when you put that cement mortar around it. It starts draining through the face of the brick, and there's more moisture in the brick. So when it freezes, it starts spalling that face like that. brick. Those brick. Those are a nice brick. Okay, we've relieved some weight. She's feeling light. Some couple cool things. Look at these brick here. These brick are kind of cool. They were formed that way, and I don't know what they're from, but they're definitely handmade brick from the 1700s, and they just fit together like that, which is kind of cool. There's another one here, and I actually wonder how many there are. And I saw this one from the firebox. Let me see if I can pull that one out. Oh, it's stuck down pretty good. But that's a firebox cut right there. That's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm just getting started on removing these divider walls, and I have gotten back down to original mortar. So this is it right here. There's no doubt right here. This is original 240-year-old plus mortar. And this was the original lime mortar, and you're like, oh my god, look at that, that stuff is garbage, right? But literally, I mean, this thing's been here for 240 years, so it's a hard debate to make, to say that lime mortar isn't better than the newer mortars we use, because this chimney has been here for 240 years, and now we build something and it's destroyed within 30 years. They can't handle the elements. It doesn't move. It's too hard. This is a newer version of lime mortar here, which would have been done probably in the 1800s, and it's still actually pretty hard. It's actually in good shape. I can't just rip that apart, but this divider wall here is that's really gone. I expect when I get down in there more, it'll get a little better. This is where all the moisture is here, so you know, the freeze thaw cycles, and then, you know, it's absorbing acids and stuff. And but yeah, you can see where we've tied into this divider wall in the middle, and it looks like about every 8 inches they had a divider wall in here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 fireplaces, and that's the main fireplace, and the beehive oven is in the big one here. So all right, well, I'm gonna start ripping this down. Geez, it's getting windy out here. That'd be nice to keep the dust out of my face, maybe. I'm gonna try to do this. You know, I'm doing it off the winch here. You see the winch, we got it all set up. We got a bull rope here with a hook to the bucket. So Lyndon's gonna lower the buckets to me, pull them up, and he's gonna use this control to let me up and down on the winch whenever I need it. And I'm just gonna wear my arborist saddle like I normally do. And I'm gonna try to do it all. I'm gonna try to use my respirator in there, because I'm gonna try to use it, but it's bulky, and it's gonna be hot, and using it and trying to have my headlamp on at the same time might be difficult. So I'm gonna try the respirator, and if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna go to the N95 paper mask. So yeah, we're gonna get after it. Some of that mortar is still pretty good. It's getting hard down there. Okay, we're making progress here. Now you can see the clear layout of the divider walls. Everything's kind of holding together a lot better down here. I'm standing on this. We're probably, I guess, I don't know, 5 foot down so far, and it's strong enough for me to stand on. So I'd rather stand on it and just keep some slack in my line here, not have to suspend myself off it. But but now we're just, yeah, we're getting a look at how things were built, and I think that that's one of the upstairs fireplaces. This is probably just a cavity that goes to nowhere right there. That should be blocked off. This has wood stove pipe still stuck in it, so that goes to the fireplace in the living room. This is also a downstairs fireplace. Shoots way off to the side. This one is going to be another upstairs fireplace. And okay, so that's a partition wall to direct the smoke up. The fireplace must be down there, just around that corner. This is the main fireplace here. And you can see where that divider wall is down there. To the left, you can see where the beehive oven comes up next to the main fireplace. It's actually starting to be pretty sturdy down here. Having to hit it with a hammer to break stuff apart. And you can see, you know, we still have, not on all the joints, but decent mortar in the joints here. Obviously these softer brick here are getting chewed up a bit. You know, some of the brick are soft, like they're always like these light, they're like pumpkin brick, pumpkin colored or light yellow. Those ones were the farthest from the fire when they were, you know, when they're fired. So the darker bricks, you can hear them when you tap them with the hammer. They're really dense brick, and then you get the softer ones. And the softer ones, they don't last as long. But see the color of it. But still, keep in mind this is pretty old and it's in pretty good shape down here, compared to what you'd think looking at the top, you know. And I'm sure the more I go down, the tougher it is to get this apart. It's just impressive, you know. This thing's had how much use over a couple hundred years, and these mortar joints are actually still, some of them are just about flush. So I think that is actually really good, compared to some of the stuff you see, and we can see some spots where it's been patched up. So this would have happened, this would have been a patch from the attic that happened years ago, and that's new mud. It's basically concrete, but yeah, just some kind of mortar made with concrete sand. Dude, I will kill you. Look at this thing. Stop it, dude. I know, it just bit me because I'm like literally filming right here. Oh, got him. Yeah. I'm filming and he bites me on my camera hand and I can't do anything about it. Okay, all right, let's keep going. Okay, this is what it's looking like here. I've just opened up this area. You see what the chimney goes back pretty sharp. From here it's pretty much straight up, and then you get to this point and it just rounds way out that way. This whole chimney has a really big footprint, so I'm looking in here and I can see this household insulation here on this side, and then on this side as well. So I don't really know I don't know what's going on down here, but oh, that's the top of the apex room. You see it? See how it tapers up to just this divider wall? That's where that apex room stops there. I wonder how that insulation got in there. Well, that's a wooden beam right there, it looks like. So that wooden beam's carrying some of the weight, and they got insulation in through there somehow. I don't know. Crazy. Yeah, it's actually pretty sturdy down here. And one of the things I've been focusing on is this mortar. This mortar is pretty good. It's like I don't know if this is, I know it's a lime mortar, but I don't know if it's an earth lime mortar. Like, I don't know, it's really gray. Got little specks of lime in there. I'm gonna try to focus, sorry. Where am I even looking? Right there. It's got like little tiny chunks of lime, but it's pretty gray. One of the things I'm noticing is, you know, all these joints are super tight, but if you look, there's no big aggregate in here. It's just really, really fine sand they used. Yeah, there's like, you know, everybody that talks about lime mortar online, they're talking about the size of the aggregate, and it's got to be this big. But this mortar is really good mortar. It's holding really well down here. I'm actually thinking about switching to a jackhammer because it's starting to get that sturdy. The mortar's pretty strong. The joints are tight. Well, here's a nice chunk here. Let me see if I can grab this one. Let me see if I can break it. It's really gray. I don't know what that is. Anyhow, the point of failure down here is it's just the brick. It's the softer brick. It's not really the mortar. But you see these softer brick, those yellow brick or the orange brick, the really light brick they're not so close to the fire, so they don't get so hard. Like this one's closer to the fire, you know, so it's a harder brick. But these real soft ones, you know, they've run their cycle, they've done their job for the past couple 100 years, and you know, eventually they got to fail. So that's really the failure point here, and I got to keep going. I'm gonna go all the way down as far as I can, probably to the top of that apex room, but this juts out that way quite a bit, so this divider wall system is supporting that wall, you know, so it does get a little sketchy when I start working on there, but knowing me, I'm just gonna push it and see what happens. That's usually what I do. It goes back that way a couple feet from this spot to that spot there. That's, well, this wall here is plumb with this brick here. You can see from that wall to over there, that's probably 30 inches or better just to that spot right there. So it might taper over like 4 feet by the bottom. I don't know. I don't know. If it gets sketchy, then I'll start pulling this brickwork down. I gotta take it down to the attic anyway, so I figure the attic floor. Where's the attic floor? The attic floor's gotta be like, it's probably like right here, I suppose. So we'll relieve, you know, thousands and thousands of pounds off of this thing by just taking down this brickwork. And then it might be a little safer to keep going with these divider walls, because then we won't need as much support because we've relieved so much of the weight. But yeah, I mean, we never know what we're going to get into when we get inside of these chimneys like this. Pretty crazy how they were built. It actually took, you know, the masons that built this were super skilled. It's not like they just were winging it. They knew what they were doing. They had a plan, and they were really good at what they were doing. Masons nowadays, they couldn't build something like this. Not the majority of them anyway. Just, it's too complex. All right, we got a decent load of brick there. Good enough to take it home. We're just wrapping up for the day. Gonna finish cleaning up here, and this is what it's looking like now. Yeah, tomorrow we're just I'll finish ripping down that shell, the outer shell down to the attic floor, and then from there I'll just keep going as far as I can with the divider walls. And I imagine there's a lot of bricks still got to come out of there.